months have gone by since the start of the year, and now it's finally December, aka the Christmas month. Thus, that can only mean one thing: school's over and the holidays are starting. My holidays began on Thursday last week, and the first stop I headed to happened on Saturday last week. And as you can see on my shirt, labeled quite big, it's called the F1 exhibition. To think about it, I've actually never watched a real F1 race at a real stadium before, but after this exhibition, watching some things like these races on YouTube, I really realized F1 is kind of cool. So, what's going on in this amazing exhibition with graphics, statues, and lots of information? Let's find out, shall we? The first thing I walked in and saw were the bunch of model cars that had driven all the other champions to victory. I also saw many pictures with matching videos and audio guides that you can listen to while the video was playing. Just remember, Black TV video. The main thing of the F1 exhibition was also its interactivity. It had so many interactive models like this one, where I got to see every car that was versed in F1. This was the earliest one it had, and it showed me all its drivers and how much victories it had won. This section talked about the advancements of the cars in F1, from things like aerodynamics to even the ground force. It was truly an engineer's dream. Next, I got to see the steering wheels of the F1 drivers, and it truly amazed me on how many buttons there were to control many different things. To be an F1 driver, you not only had to have skill and strength, but also memory. Now we talked about some futures for F1 cars, maybe by using greener energy, and driver duels, long-lasting rivalries between big drivers.
this is another interactive experience where I got to be a new F1 driver. The camera modeled my every movement and it mirrored it quite well. I tried to hop onto the podium at the back, but let's just say that didn't go well. Luckily, there were 6 different styles, so I had plenty of diversity, each with their own helmet and suit. Next, we talked about long-standing rivalries between different drivers. Seeing these epic films that showed interviews from the drivers, it was quite amazing. Now, this is me creating my own helmet for an interactive thing. I was exploring with different styles, putting my name and my favorite number on the helmet, and I felt like the creation I created using all these different styles like metallic and basically anything there was, I found it quite nice. Next was my most favorite interactive experience, a reflex game. I got an amazing time, I thought, of 0.165. At the end, we watched a big show with lots and lots of F1 cars racing all around the course. And it basically showed us as a final touch to the amazing show I watched today. Now this part was a bunch of the drivers that were driving in today's F1. It was quite fun because I got to take pictures with every single one of the F drivers. Finally, I got to the end and took a photo with the one and only Australian Grand Prix rider, Oscar Piastri. Now I want to talk about the shop. There was so much good merchandise in it, with driver posters and model car posters, with also lots of clothes. Next, I visited the simulator. I had accidentally bought 4 tickets instead of 2, but that was okay because the simulator was so epic. Just a reminder, if you bought podium pass, that means you also get simulator. The background for the F1 racing, as the simulator showed, was Albert Park. There were some very difficult turns that kept me flinging off the track, like that one. Also bumping into the wall. I did get better at the turns though, and started to keep on the track. However, sometimes I still fell off. Overall, my best time was a time of 1:30, not quite as fast as some other people. At the same time, there was also Oz Comic Con, there was tattoo shows, there was all kinds of different shows. So it made me think, wow, Australian people really do have the good life. If you recognize yourself, if you went to Comic Con, or if you recognize the characters some of these people are dressed as, tell me below in the comments.